Welcome. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the information panel and the histogram. All right. And now I have three photos here that are that we're going to use. And to go to information, you go to Windows, Info, or History, but they're usually grouped together. So if you open up the information, you usually see the others. Now, unfortunately, I have all of these grouped, so that wasn't meant to be. So I'm just going to click on the Info and the histogram and put those together. Then I'm going to close those back, so I just have these two that are showing. I'm going to click on Info. And now what is the Info panel? Well, I'm going to use the eyedropper tool, press I, and I move over my image, and as I move over the image I see RGB settings. I can see here that it's 219, 217, 216. When the numbers are close together, that means they're pretty neutralized. And on the other side I have CMYK. Well, how did I get those CMYK settings? If you go here to the panel options, you can choose your first color readout and your second color readout. You can also choose your ruler units, and you can choose other things. Sometimes I have document size, document profile, and document dimensions checked just so I can see what's going on in the info panel. So I have my document 69, which I can see down here. And I have Adobe RGB 1998. It's 16 bits, as we can see here also, right here. And I can see how big my image is, and it's at 300 ppi. So we move over the image. We're seeing, okay, 155, 155. Okay, this is nice. This is helpful. But it seems to me that the number is not very low. So if I'm on a range from 0 to 255, 0 is black, 255 is pure white, and in the middle is, what is it, 127, somewhere around that range, is going to be the midtones. I'm noticing that I'm not getting anything really low, so I'm probably missing a lot of shadows. So if I go over to this one, here I can tell I don't have, here I have 125, 114. I'm on the white, and I can tell it's not, there's no white. I can see that this is probably white, but there's no white. So the info panel is guiding me and telling me what I'm seeing in the image, and kind of visually telling me through the numbers what I'm seeing with my own eyes. And maybe some of the things I'm not seeing with my eyes. So I can tell here maybe I'm missing some shadows and highlights. When I go over here, I can see these lovely ladies. Obviously it's blown out, but I can use my eyedropper here, and I can tell with my RGB settings 255, 250, 244, well, it's blown out. And I can go over to black and see it's 001. So that's a no-no. That's also blown out to black. We we never want it to be 001 and 255, 255, 255, unless it's for a reason such as specular highlights, or that it is purposely blown out to those settings. You normally want to have the black areas between 12 and 13 so that you have details in the shadows. You usually want your highlights around 242 so that you can print details in the highlights. Now on the other side, we have the histogram. The histogram is a representation of the tones within your image. It goes from shadows, midtones, highlights. There are different visuals for histograms. Here showing you the channels and colors, which you never want. You can do RGB, which is a composite of all the colors, but that doesn't really give you any information, just the overall histogram. You can go through individual channels if you want, but that can be a little cumbersome going through each one. You'll see these little arrows, which means you need to update it. But let's go to panel options here, or flyout menu, and this is the let's try the compact. Now that's obviously not what we want, so we want expanded view. We want to see all the channels, and we want to see statistics. Alright, then we want to see, here we can change this now if we want to look at colors, and we're going to move our histogram panel up. Now we can see a representation of the colors and the individual channels. So we can see in this image, yes, we have a lot of blown out highlights and we have a lot of blown out shadows. So we do see what we see in the histogram with what we saw in the info panel. Alright, let me click on that second image. Here we can see that we have no shadows and no highlights. So everything's pushed in the middle. So there's no contrast. So we can see that, and we saw that with the eyedropper. So the histogram and the info panel can work together and kind of verify what you see. And now we go over to that first image that I did open up. We can see here that I had my white snow, and I have some gray in the image, which we can obviously see, but I don't really see the shadows. And as we can see here, there are no shadows in this image, and it's shown in the histogram. This isn't showing you exactly where it is, but it's giving you a visual, guidance of where to look, what to do, and you can actually see there's some highlights that are missing also. Now, a histogram is also great for showing you if there's a color cast. So here we might have an indication of there's more red than green, and green is more than blue, so we might have a little problem there. And in here, it's kind of hard to tell. But in the later lessons, we're going to show you how to fix those problems. And next lesson, I'm going to explain to you why 16-bit is better than 8-bit.